Back again, and this time is fantasy focus for game week 23. We're looking at the players most likely to deliver in front of goal, the big transfers people are weighing up, where the clean sheets are likely to come from, and finally, who should have the captaincy armband this week. So we're going to start with goal involvement potential, and at the top of the list, so clearly you can see Man City have taken over. They've got 5 players on this list, but no one is coming close to Haaland's 80% chance of scoring or assisting against Wolves at home. That is crazy high. It has to be one of the highest so far this season. Although Haaland has 1 goal in 5, so it's unlikely to be a week to move away from him. But the fact that he's blanked in 4 games, surely that shows that there could potentially be other options to go for in maybe away games for City, because right now they're not creating many chances, they're not getting a lot of goals. So could there be potential for other captaincy options elsewhere? On City, they have actually failed to win in their last 4 games, with the last win coming against Forest in game week 18. Wolves actually look to be improving, having recorded expected goals conceded of just 0.7 over the last 4 game weeks. But I would put that probably down to the opposition rather than how well Wolves are defending. Definitely they've improved, but they have played weaker opposition than City. Cherki, Foden, Semenyo, all with 62% chance of scoring or assisting this week. I mean, if you've got a couple of those players, definitely hold on to them. I've got Semenyo, so I'll be holding on to him until game week 24. Ekitike makes the list along with Salah, who's now returned from the AFCON, both with a 60% chance, but I wouldn't expect to see Salah starting at all. Fantasy Football Hub predicts him to score only 14.3 points over the next 5, so they don't see many regular minutes for Salah either. It'll be interesting to see how Slot integrates him into the team. With the January transfer window closing, it doesn't at the moment look like he's going to be moving anywhere. And then you've got Saka, who was benched against Forest. Arsenal play Man United at home. And after starting the midweek Champions League fixture versus Inter, I'm really hoping that he starts this one to justify that 10.1 million price tag. He's dropped a couple of prices now, and he's got a 58% chance of scoring or assisting in this one. Now, worryingly for me, Thiago also has a decent fixture. He's playing Nottingham Forest at home. They have an expected goals conceded of 1.4 per 90. So I'm undecided whether to either stick with Ekitike or go with Thiago. Now, the percentages show that Ekitike has more chance of scoring or assisting versus Bournemouth away than Thiago at home to Forest. Now, I'm not sure if I follow that myself. Out of the 2, I would probably prefer to own Thiago just because he goes on penalties and he's probably in the better form. And then you can see Gabriel Jesus. He's on there as well, 55% of scoring or assisting. But again, Fantasy Football Hub predict only 9.2 points over the next 5, so not really someone you can go with. But it's interesting to see that the bookies believe that Gabriel Jesus has more chance of scoring than Gyökeres, who has more chance of starting. It just goes to show that the belief in Gyökeres from the bookies is starting to wane. Yeah, they're starting to believe that he's not going to get these attacking returns, and someone more likely to get those is Gabriel Jesus, who regularly starts on the bench. Yeah, so worrying times for Gyökeres. Alright, so moving on to transfers in for game week 23, and unsurprisingly, Bruno Fernandes is at the top of the list with 335,576 transfers in at the time of recording. Obviously, with that great performance against City, it's obvious to see why people are transferring him in. I've done it myself. I've got him in now, hoping that he can continue that form. Whether he does it against Arsenal is another thing. It's a difficult fixture, but he is on penalties. He does take all the set pieces, so there's always a chance that he could get something. And then Mbeumo and Dorgu, again, both of them being transferred in by a lot of managers off the back of that performance to City. Obviously, Dorgu's just a cheap enabler. I think it's 4.2 million now as a defender. And he gets attacking returns because he plays further forward sometimes for United on the left. So yeah, it is a great pick considering he's only 4.2 million. How many starts he gets, not too sure. Is he going to play left back with Luke Shaw seemingly fit and available now? Is he going to play on the left? Cunha was on the bench versus City, but he did come on and get 2 assists. So there's options there for Carrick. So I reckon between Cunha and Dorgu, they're going to share a lot of minutes. So it's going to be difficult to predict when Dorgu's going to play. As for Mbeumo, for me, that's somebody that I'm definitely looking at. Not this week. Game week 24, I am almost certainly going to bring him in. I think I'm going to avoid Palmer because of the groin issues and jump on the Man United bandwagon. They may have one really good performance and everybody starts thinking they're back. And I think I'm going to fall for it and go for Mbeumo. Then, of course, we got Thiago. He's got a good fixture against Forest, so I can see why people are starting to think to bringing him in now. He does have difficult fixtures after that, with Aston Villa away and Newcastle away in the next two after game week 23, but he's probably the best striker outside of Haaland to go for, so I can understand why people are still transferring him in. And he again went up in price this week. And then surprisingly, Semenyo, yeah, he's got a good fixture, Wolves at home, but I mean, I'm looking to transfer him out just because I'm not totally convinced on the minutes. He did start on the right versus United. I'm hoping he starts on the right against Wolves at home and he can get a return, but can I be confident that he's constantly going to get minutes? He's constantly going to start? Not really. So for me, it's somebody that I'm looking to move on. So it's interesting to see that people are actually bringing him in. And then Gabriel, Rice, yeah, they're two great options. I can see why people are bringing him in. And Chalobah has 4 great fixtures after game week 23 and even the Crystal Palace away game. I don't see it as a difficult fixture at the moment with the way Crystal Palace are playing. We're not creating chances. We're not scoring goals, so there's always a chance that Chelsea could get a clean sheet there. All right, so transfers out for game week 23, and as you can see, Foden is the most transferred out player this game week. Over 332,000 managers transferred him out, and I'm one of them. It does seem like a silly time to do it, given the fact that he does have Wolves at home. But I mean, you can't deny that he's been poor over the last 4 game weeks. He has then played in the Champions League tonight. The City have got beaten. Foden got substituted on the 70th minute. Didn't do anything. It was completely innocuous. I mean, for me, that doesn't bode well for the weekend. Now, could he start? Yes. Could he get a return? Definitely. But for me, I've moved on from him. I've checked out. And I can see why so many other people have done it as well. Wolves at home, I can see why people are holding. Good luck to them. Knowing my luck, he probably will get a return, but I can see why people are moving him on. And then Guéhi. Now, I'm assuming a lot of people have a lot of City players in their lineup. Obviously, they've probably got Haaland, maybe they've got Foden, Semenyo. But yeah, for me, Guéhi, I think he's going to be nailed on. I can't see him coming out of the team anytime soon. He's going to start regularly for City because they are struggling defensively. They've got a lot of injuries in defence, so that's the reason why he's going to play. And one of the best centre-backs in the league. I don't think there are many that are better than him. Maybe Gabriel, Saliba, Van Dijk, Ruben Diaz, maybe. Is there anybody better than Guéhi other than that? I'm not so sure, especially with the way that City want to play with the ball at the feet. So Guéhi's one of the best at that. I think he's perfect for Pep. And yeah, I think he's going to play many games. I would actually personally look to try and get him in at some point because he's shown for Crystal Palace that he's great from set pieces, getting goals. And yeah, with City, they do pick up clean sheets every now and then. And he's not too expensive at the moment. So for me, if I had Guéhi, I would keep him. But maybe people have too many City players and that's why they're moving him on. Saka being moved out. He's now, like I mentioned, dropped down to 10.1 million. I've still got him. I'm still going to keep him for Man United at home. I believe he's going to start. It's a big game. It's a big rivalry from the past. I can't see why Arteta wouldn't start him in that game. They need to win. They haven't won in 2 games now, drawing both 0-0. So they're going to need their best attackers on the pitch to beat Man United, especially after how they played against City. So if there was any doubt in Arteta's mind to play Saka in this game, after that game against City for Man United, I would definitely be playing my best players, and Saka's one of them. So I'm almost 100% certain that he's going to start in that. Yeah, Cherki, 107,000 people have transferred him out. I get this one. He is a minutes risk, especially with Semenyo coming in now. Cherki, Semenyo, Foden, Doku. It's going to be very difficult to predict who starts in these games. So yeah, I can see why Cherki's been moved on. Rodgers, I'm not sure on. I don't really get it. Aston Villa have got some very good fixtures coming up. Yes, he doesn't have a very good expected goal involvement, but he is one of the focal points for Villa. He is one of those guys who does get the attacking returns for the team. Yeah, for me, I don't really see that one. If I had him, I would definitely keep him, and I would potentially get him in. He would be maybe someone similar to Mbeumo. Maybe I go for Mbeumo, maybe I go for Rodgers. Yeah, he's in that sort of category for me. And then Cunha, yeah, I get this one. I moved him on last week to get in Enzo Fernandez. People are probably moving him on to get Bruno Fernandes in. So yeah, understand that one. He was of course benched against City as well. He did come on, get 2 assists, so that's promising for him, but he probably will share that left side with Dorgu. Maybe Cunha will play the easier games against the easier teams where he doesn't have to do much defensive work, whereas Dorgu will play the tougher games like he did against City. Alright, quickly go through the Game Week 23 clean sheets this week, and Man City are at the top. Of course, they've got Wolves at home. Wolves struggling for goals, but Man City did just lose in the Champions League midweek. Like I said, I fully expect Gahi to come into the start 11 to shore up the defence. They really need him. So that should go some way to improving their chances with the 45% chance of a clean sheet. Do I expect them to keep it? I don't think you ever know with City. Sometimes they're really strong. It's touch and go whether I think they're actually going to do it or not. But you would play your defenders if you're playing Wolves at home. So yeah, of course, it's definitely a great chance to get a clean sheet. And then you got Arsenal with 43% chance. You have to play your Arsenal players any game they play because there's always a chance they're going to keep a clean sheet. They've done it against opposition who you may have thought might get a goal. Liverpool, you would expect them to get something. They didn't shut them out. It was 0-0. And then Nottingham Forest as well. They were at home, so Arsenal going away to Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest in an evening game can be a difficult game for away clubs. And yeah, they came away with it 0-0 again. So you just have to keep playing those Arsenal defenders because they're always within a chance of getting a clean sheet. And then Spurs, they're away to Burnley. Burnley have an expected goals per 90 of just 0.83 at home. So it's a great chance if you have any Spurs defenders to get a return. And Everton, I mean, they're similar to Arsenal. Like, you can play Everton players in any fixture and they could come away with something. That is the reason why Pickford always comes out as one of the top goalkeepers in the league in FPL, because Everton just somehow keep clean sheets. Doesn't matter if they're at home or away, they somehow pull it out the bag, and like they did against Aston Villa. Keep a clean sheet, get you bonus points as well. I think Pickford got 10 points for Game Week 22. Tarkowski got 8 points. Yeah, they're a great choice. And then Chelsea face Palace. Like I said in previous videos, Palace are struggling. They were creating chances and not putting them away. Now I can say that they're not even creating chances. So I'm not sure how it's going to be at Sellers Park. Obviously, with everything that's going on, Mateta is looking to leave. So he's pretty much non-existent in games at the moment. We do have Sarr back, so that's a positive for us. Hopefully he can come back into the team straight away. I'm not sure what the rest period is between that AFCON final and him returning back to Palace. Hopefully he can play on Saturday because we need him. If the last 9 years are anything to go by, I can only see Chelsea winning this one. We haven't beat Chelsea in 9 years. Alright, so finally, let's talk about the Game Week 23 captaincies, and unsurprisingly, we've got Haaland at the top with a 10.7 expected points this game week. We know that City play Wolves at home, so that's why you've got Semenyo there as well with 6.4 points predicted. Gabriel and Gahi are on there as well as defenders, so very surprising to see that. Gabriel with 6.1 and Gahi with 5.9. You would expect them to get that from the clean sheets, but we know that these two players are very attacking when it comes to set pieces, so there's always a chance there. Your outside one would probably be Saka at home to United. He should definitely start. Does he play the full 90 minutes though? I'm not sure. So yeah, really, your only option there is going to be Haaland. I can't see anyone being brave enough to pick anyone outside of Haaland despite his poor form. And that wraps up your fantasy focus for Game Week 23. Goal threats, clean sheets and captaincies all covered. If this helped, drop a like. It genuinely supports the channel. And if you're new around here, subscribe so you don't miss any more videos that I post. Let me know how your team's shaping up in the comments. I'd love to hear what you're planning. Good luck this week, green arrows, and enjoy the football.